This is, somebody went to a lot of trouble to catalog label these.
All right, you got the floor.
Cool. There's not much difference between this and like the 200 and 250. There's like, well, there's really no difference in the maintenance in the 75 and 100 and the 200, but the 250 has a few different things. It's just like pulling the gear off in the belt. It's nothing really different. It's super easy. But this will teach you how to do all of them that are a clone of this. And this is, you want to do this to every player that you get, or for yourself or for selling. You got to at least do this, and then you'll be able to say you've done the basic maintenance, and anything after that is electronic or something like John can fix, or a Stylus problem.
So you don't work.
I now do. I just get so tired of that stuff.
Gun, you want to touch all that tarry, goopy goodness?
Yeah.
And have it get on your nice linoleum floor? And you got to break out the alcohol.
That's why I
First time I intended to bring
all my stuff.
When I did mine, it got all over my floor. I had to rub the alcohol on my entire floor.
Engineering.
There's only 3 screws in the back. The majority of them are a pain in the ass on the bottom. These ones.
Oh.
Yep, those are always fun.
Oh yeah.
Are those hex heads?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That name of
Yeah, I wonder whether they used the hex when they knew it had come on.
Hex heads were common on their TVs, so of that time. So yeah,
They had a lot
we
like
just had a lot of them. Yeah.
You gotta remember, this was RCA. You know, there were several service centers at the time, so if you needed to take something to get fixed, oh, just take it to a service center. They didn't want you doing it yourself.
Right.
Yeah, they definitely didn't want
They didn't
that.
want you doing it. Like you look at original Nintendos. Nowadays they're easy to fix, right? But back in the 80s and 90s, Nintendo didn't want you opening that thing up. They didn't want you diagnosing the most simple problem in the world. They wanted you to send it to them. They'll fix it for you.
Now, really, all these screws, it just lets this back part off, and it lets the top come off. But once I got it upside down, I always go with fixed, like, because you got a grease down here, and there's a place you can oil. I always start with the bottom because it's just a pain to redo it. You have to flip it back over and take stuff off.
Damage, like it was plugged in.
Get out of there.
By when it wasn't there, and water got sprayed.
Next time I come across the Tex Avery.
Oh, what?
Tex Avery, next time I come across it. I know you wanted it.
There's one on eBay right now that I'm watching. It's an auction style. So we'll see.
Oh, what up that Pike Lee's
Yeah, that's how
guy?
I had
Pike
these
Lee's
same style
Pearson?
shelves.
He got two of them.
I had
Well, because he told me that his wife got the first one.
Kind of have to pull it up and slide it back to get around that
He has
wire.
two right now. He'll probably sell you one for
The
cheap.
VCR and
What?
400.
What you want to do is grease here, grease here and here, and you can pop this off. And there's a little slit right there that you put the sewing machine oil in, and that's for this, the motor, the turntable motor. Just the bearings on that. But I'll grease this. You really don't have to wipe it off, anything that's there, the old stuff, but I mean, if you want to be meticulous to do it, but you don't really have to.
It'll play like 6 minutes and then go
It's just
back
old
3,
and dry.
play 6, go back 3.
And you can see this is what Tony was talking about. That's what lowers and raises the turntable actually. This is part who physically does it.
okay.
That's what lowers it. And like you said, this and that can break off. Kind of screwed.
And the one that has-
Because that's not fun to replace. But you really only need like Q-tips full of this grease. You don't have to go overboard, but you want to make sure that it is done okay. And you can do it, just set it in the sides, almost, and like work it in. You'll be able to tell if it's moving good or not. But you can be liberal with it. You don't want to get too much on it.
One of them has the dual audio button here, and one of them maybe there.
There's usually foam on the inside of here that's like falling apart.
Yeah, a weird deteriorating foam in there.
Yeah.
W1 I just got, there's foam on the top. Pretty much all disintegrated over
And
time.
it just falls apart.
Did the stop working? did exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, that's about
Just lubed everything up.
It's almost floor to ceiling, basically.
Got a flathead or anything that would, oh, that worked. Never mind.
I have a lot of discs that are damaged.
Like you don't need a lot of this. It's like barely any.
That's a regular. Do you have the remote too?
Like literally just fill that up a little bit, and it's
That's the remote.
a couple drops in there, or what you think is a couple drops, because you can overflow it.
So much more hard to find.
But it really,
So,
it's not much. It's that's that easy. And just put it back on.
I know
You want it to be level with that post.
inside if
You don't want to go too far down. It'll do, it'll stop it.
Yep.
it's gotta be on.
But that's pretty much all you have to do underneath. I'll actually do this because it's there right now. There's that 3/4 switch back there. That can give you that fuzzy video we were talking about. It's seriously just as simple as spraying it right in there and working it around.
It's somebody on the CED forum, right?
It's one of those
Before you
things.
turn it over, you want to mention that if they put that AV modification in, it gives you audio and
Yes.
video, the little module fits in there, and the two connectors come out there.
This is like
That's it.
one that when I was experimenting with the design he had. It's not finished product by any means. You can see how they are. It was just to make sure it worked. But it'll end up like you screws it right there, and you have the adapter that goes right here. I think it is right there.
Yes.
There's a spot. It's all.
Does it plug in through the RF?
It goes into here. You solder it into here.
Oh, you
No,
soldered
it does
okay.
not. It
Okay,
plugs
it solders
into
right
the
in.
circuitry.
Gotcha.
These are buffered amplifiers on there. They will not affect the channel 3/4 out.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yep.
And the correct impedance to feed a TV set.
They work great, honestly.
No, it's not stereo.
No stereo.
It's not stereo.
We looked into designing stereo, and it came out to be $150
Oh,
for a
jeez.
module. We thought people would not buy that.
How much was the mono model? Or
What are we charging? 40, 35?
I think it was $35-40 for that.
that's a good step
Yeah.
up.
And you get everything. You get the bracket to hold them. You get the output, the actual output adapters. You get the instructions on where and how to do it. It's everything there. It's pretty awesome.
The only thing you want in addition to your toolkit is to drill 2 holes in the back here,
Yeah.
just to let the connectors come through.
Yeah, and it's definitely good to get the drill bits for that are meant for plastic.
Yep.
Because you can gnarl it up real good.
Believe me, I know about AV mounting. Believe me.
I'm just putting these back in because
That's interesting. You've got one with all the feet in place.
right, it's kind of it got offset somehow.
Right.
Flip to the side so you can actually test the voltage on the ICs and stuff. These ones are fun too. It kind of helps when you have it like in the middle, the knob. Just because up or down, it kind of gets in the way. Just get it in the middle, and you have to like pick it up and then slide it forward towards you.
Dude, I already prefer these older ones to the frickin' one that I like. It seems like the SKT and SJT are more cookie cutter.
These ones are my favorite.
They really are. Oh yeah, they're amazing. Honestly, I love how much abuse they really can take.
The other thing too is that the warp disc.
Oh, that's good, yeah.
Because plus you push it in as well.
Yeah, it's not pulling it.
Yeah, I had the SJT that I just gave to Keith, and that loading mechanism, like every maybe 20 discs, one disc would not lock, and then it was problems, you know.
This is it. You just flip it over. That's service mode for the top board. If you were to do that audio or the remote mod, the wireless Sega controller that Tom has, you end up tying into here. And you can, it's great. It's so fun to sit back with a weird Sega controller and fast forward and rewind this. Because it just didn't have wireless capability, and the fact that you did it is awesome. Kind of like to set this one aside with this. It's the same screws as the rest, but these things, this one always gives me problems. It's plastic and it's not, even though it's the same screw, it's not.
It's not.
So I just always keep it aside. This is the landing latch. This is one of those ones when you put it back, you'll want to have it with tension. I'll show you. It's literally just as simple as taking it off
Yeah, I put it on wrong.
and sliding it back that way. And it'll put it, see how there's no tension? You don't want to set it back on that. But even if you did, you just pull it away, put it back, it resets it.
Some comment.
The cell phone.
This kind of got to lift up, pull that way, set it aside. This is the worm gear. This is what advances the stylus arm. We'll end up greasing all that, you'll see. This thing right here, it's like the timer basically, but if you mess this up, if you go too far forward, like you want it forward when you set the stylus arm back down. Like if I were to set it back like that and put it on, it like messes it up and thinks it like it'll start at what it thinks is like 30, and then you'll get to like what's really on the disc at 30, you know, not even halfway through, and it'll go back to home like, oh, it's done. You played the whole disc, but all you got to do is really.
You look like you're performing an autopsy.
I was gonna akin this to open heart surgery.
Now comes the fun part. These screws are the worst screws on all players.
Autopsy is probably the best.
Let's hope they don't get stripped out.
Because I'm so used to working with.
If you have the right screw bit, you're fine, but I had to find them.
I've never been able to get any out of those strips out. I always have to drill
I'm
them out.
lucky. 3 times that I've had to do it, they've always come out. But I always get the ones from John.
They come out.
I'm just trying to find one. I forget what bit I actually used. But
If you think this player's well engineered, this is an area where it's not.
this is it. This is like the one.
This is a piece of right here that you use the bird.
Okay.
And that sensor will go back up in there. So when it slides out,
This is like I said, where
once you
tap it. Sometimes it kind of scares people, but it is what it is. You hear it kind of click. It's hard to tell, but
Just get one of them out.
I think that's a
Right,
J
right.
logo too.
and some like if you really didn't strip that one out, you didn't have anything to strip it. Sometimes you can kind of mess with it. It's not common, but I've had it work.
it's on the back.
Yeah, it's not my favorite part either, but
And
you have to.
program bar.
Stripped her.
You know the way out? You exercise this.
Yep, that I was just talking about
And
it.
then it's stuck. And everything's stuck.
Yeah.
See all that?
Yeah.
At least we got one up. But
There's 2 little blue marks. And if you have it in between the 2 blue marks, it's
might
like
still be yep, beautiful.
Oh, you got it. Cool.
Yep. Like I said, you just
slides through this.
it's one of those ones where you, as long as you get one out, you're probably okay without a grinder.
Back here, there is a little screw.
And this is kind of a pain in the butt too. You got to remember they come together like that.
Ugh.
Oh, something.
And these sometimes they get messed up too, but it'll end up being like that.
Yeah, it took me a while to figure that out.
And then you got to be careful with this. There's a spring in there,
I thought maybe that's why.
and you can't adjust it unless you have that spring out. But this is what keeps this going up and down on it. So you want that.
Adjust the height.
And you gotta kind of move this with your thumb.
Remember which one it was?
You want to pull
Yeah, this is
straight up as you can to hopefully
this right here.
get that bearing down there.
Going out, and this,
We'll
if somebody
accept this again.
forces it, You cannot find
This belt too, I don't have
Surprised
anything to
that
do
I'm surprised that's intact.
These ones always are.
they
They're
are.
stretched out for the most part though.
Okay.
But what you can do, like I take a cold paper towel and under the sink I'm doing this to clean it.
first.
Actually start with warm. Then I use cold to like
And
wipe it off and clean it.
first thing I do is
But you can also soak this in ammonia overnight and it'll
Shrink it
It'll,
up.
yeah,
Just a little bit.
It'll shrink it just.
but it'll do what you want. But now this is fully disassembled for the regular maintenance. Now I can start to like grease and oil the points that are there. Like this one's got another hole right there for the bearing in there.
That spring pressure on this is going to go away.
Just right there. Couple drops. And you can overflow this one. You can see it. When you see it happen, you're like, oops. You just gotta start wiping stuff. But This one's really good. You can feel it. You'll know when it's bad.
I'm just giving too much resistance.
Yeah. I'm gonna do grease because I hate it and I like to get it out of the way first.
On the Radio Shack one, there's another little thing here.
That's
that
clean
you
out
put
there.
in this push
Usually see them.
and then
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, no, he's a good player.
Yeah.
and then
That's what I'm actually. You
$4
could go in and brush stuff out.
out.
It's kind of a pain sometimes, but this one's actually really clean, so you don't
Low
have too much.
mileage, right? Generally, that means it hasn't been played that much, right?
It probably got stored soon after you first used
Hit
it.
up deals, man. That's how it goes.
Where
I gotta pay for my gas.
Hey, what do you think I gotta do when I'm down
Is
here?
this grease?
You're right.
Is this grease down there?
Down underneath.
That is like a glue from them.
Two switches.
There's you'd use the Omni oil in there.
And it drives a little.
But there's right here there's a spring.
Turns around the other
There's a bar. You want to grease that up as much as you can.
and it turns the other switch off. So that's how it starts the molding oil. And then it drops the platter.
It's literally just cover it. It's not gonna hurt anything over here.
Getting low in it, but I've got two
Water damage to the back.
Okay.
before.
But it
I just need that.
Stays running.
Yeah. Yeah, when the disc is up.
Because it doesn't have that crappy ass joint.
With all the grease, I work it in. You want to? It'll just save you time.
So it is safe to say the earlier stuff was much better engineered. Or over-engineered, like you said, but much better
What
engineered.
you're doing is put
There's that point. Wherever you basically see grease is where you want to replace it. You see it, just put some there. This one's pretty easy.
You have to look at yourself. It's like one of the better ones.
it's just an industrial.
Yeah.
It's a job.
The Hitachi? Yeah. Oh, the SGT 250? But yeah.
The thing works.
Because it's like it was like a
That'll get worked in on there. You don't have to do it too bad. It's just, you see the grease again, just replace it.
Flickers and reads on numbers.
Yeah.
But I mean, it has the manual, or I mean, the analog counterpart.
It's facing my gallons of tires.
I think like I'll share with
Just work it into the gear. it'll spread itself out.
But I mean, even there were very places black and
Then right in here, I kind of sandwich some in there,
I'd love to.
Oh, the interactive.
just so it can get in there and spread around by itself again.
Because I do, they did make some.
You don't have to get too crazy with it. You'll know when you need to put more in. You'll feel it. It's just nothing. It's not moving smooth. And that's with the stuff hanging over it.
Feels
You can
good.
feel how exactly. And yeah, that's pretty much all the grease points you can get on the top. There's really nothing more.
I remember what they sent me.
Now for this part,
This is like the early big one they sent me.
How the player bounces the turntable.
So this is the bearing when they talk about it's losing its color, it's black and white, that's the bearing they're
these
talking about.
bearings are not lubricated, and it's making this
Right.
it won't spin. There's too much friction. But this oil sticks. It's tacky enough to stay where it needs to, but lubricate and not go away.
But I'm happy with the
I don't want to replay it.
That's the exact same thing on
I'm in-
all of mine. The single shots.
You can obviously overdo it. It'll fall down, and you'll have to clean the bottom tray
Now
again.
that's machine oil on the bearing, right?
This is Omni Lube.
OmniLube, I remember that from the last one.
Yep.
Sure. I think it's on this one, or else maybe it's on the later model. I know that's where you adjust the height out.
It's kind of hard to see that other bearing down there, but it looks exactly like this, just a couple inches down.
It's there.
You'll know when you go to put a turntable on.
Because it'll come out.
I'll use this tool to adjust these.
Ryan, before you put this back, you might want to
That's what's on.
I was amused.
Yeah, that's it. You want to
One day,
clean that as much as you
I
can.
know what that click is.
And like I said, I clean this too, so that there's and I'll clean right here
I thought was
with like rubbing alcohol and paper towel, just so you know that it's clean. You don't want to grease that or anything. It's the belt rides on that. And this, I'll clean out here with paper towel and in here, because they're blue. It might be on it, but you can see there's dust in there.
weaving
But really,
JK
just get it as clean as you can.
for 24 hours.
Make sure that's not gonna fall out.
Like, gets warm enough where it will
But I'm gonna adjust these synchronizer plates. And you can see it kind of moves. And like
it would
the actual instructions, John has them. He sent me. Like you have to use your finger to bend these. Like they don't give you a tool. They don't tell you anything. Like use your
I
finger.
literally brought it here just to
And you can see
One instruction
Technical
like
on
that.
some things, but then there's things like that. It's like, just screw with
It was
me.
obviously
Like the only grease you need is
that's weird.
No, if you want to
What kind of
see
player is
something
this,
that
100?
scares you, look at the manual for a ASR
Yeah, it's 100.
33.
Have you ever seen that
Everything's
stuff?
bend this way, bend this
Isn't it
that way.
I can one up you.
That's the number I always remember.
Pioneer LDW.
It's a G100.
And then you'll
G,
cry.
there we go.
I've seen
Yeah.
this number, but
You'll
I've seen
cry.
it on 200.
That's
They feel the same.
Yeah, for sure. It's just, but yeah. But normally,
It might be a small change.
Yeah, there was a
that we do.
yeah. Normally you would have to do this, get as close as you can to the inner ring. It's just trial and error. I would do it without the belt. Just go, check it, put it in. Does it grind? Did you get too close? Did, take it out, bend them a little back. But
What do those do?
they are the ones. This gets it going. These drive it. It speeds it. It's the magnetic. The pulse it makes them spin. It's awesome when you think about it, but
Can I just say something here?
oh, absolutely. Say
These
whatever you
players have got a 2-speed gearbox. The band gets it up very close to 450 revolutions per minute, and then you rely on the magnetic coupling between this magnetic ring here and these two posts. You go south-north, 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 and drive this round. And that's make sure it's perfectly full.
Yep.
Now,
Right there.
occasionally, even when you've serviced the player like this, you'll find occasionally the thing goes from black and color to black and white and back again to color. That's maybe because the magnetic ring is
dying out,
dying out, but there's an adjustment here on speed. Here. I'm going to feeling if you adjust that and visually check, see what's happening, that often fixes the problem for a while.
Yeah, I've actually by kind of tightening this whole plate down.
That's true.
Exactly. Yes. That's another thing too. You see how it looks like it's in, but you see how it doesn't raise or lower. It means it's not in. Bottom bearing, it didn't go into it, but you can kind of sometimes manipulate it. See how it went in? It'll spin like that. You hear that? That's what you'll hear when you've gone too much on a pulse.
Okay.
And you can hear that when it tries to play the disc too, like it's annoying. But basically get as close as you can to these. Just be very careful, because if you break these, you gotta replace that whole part and it's not fun.
So you pretty much want them as close as you can possibly get
Without noise. And I could use that feeler gauge. I don't need to. I know what it looks like, but you want to be really close.
Yeah, Sedate, we get a lot of orders for the belt because people think that's a problem. It's not. If the belt's turning the turntable and it's about the right speed, it's not going to be the belt problem here. It's going to be
Yeah.
Yeah, of all the players I've come against, I've only ever had one that needed a turntable belt.
Occasionally you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's
And
usually
this one,
visually you can see that.
it was.
I'm gonna do that after. I'm gonna get the turntable back on. Then grease that, just because it's better.
If that happens, it pulls it.
This too,
in one direction.
kind of grease this one up.
Exactly.
Well, not grease, but oil.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be much.
It stays oval.
Just enough so that you
it
know.
doesn't spin it correctly.
That'll work out after later.
No matter what you do, it's got it.
Okay.
I usually try to get that little bowl out too, and then clean inside there.
Yep. If you want to get that out, if you want to do that, make that part of your regular maintenance. Yeah, screws right there. That's where that long hex or Allen wrench comes in. You can twist it out. This will go up and down. I've really, other than cleaning it, taking it out, or it falling out, I've never really had to deal with it. For some reason, these players don't really have the table. It's not like the JK players where that shaft will slip. But I actually have, had this pop up. Like I could push it up and out of it. And just put it back to where it blew it.
What symptoms would indicate a height problem, the turntable height problem?
On here, I don't know. What would it look like? I'm not sure. I think you might get maybe more skips.
Might be a slightly grinding.
Yep, but on a JK, you can hear it. It's literally scraping the platter. The turntable's scraping. You can hear it with that.
RCA sells a gauge. Substitute the top cartridge. It'll tell you where it should be. I hardly ever use that. Why would it ever go out of track? calibration, I'm not sure.
You're right. This belt, people do it differently. It's one of those ones. You can put the platter in and then try and get the belt around it. But just make sure it's right. You can kind of hold it like that.
I mean, it was 1978.
Get it ready for it.
Literally laser. When I came home, I was like, well, now I have to check to make sure it works, and I pushed it in. Double dashes. But it had.
Yeah, they're talking about modern technical equipment will be assembled by a computer. My, that'd be a hell of a good computer.
I was gonna say, if there's a computer that can do that, dang. Good job on that engineer.
This is the worst part about these pliers, is that, like, you can just feel it. Again, this is where this tool comes in great. But I always have it down so you know when it goes all the way down. You've got it in. But we'll see how this goes again.
I had rim splash stickers, like, you know, like what a light sight is. I had like where it's not a piece of plastic and there's a bulb in the back with the displays up here. But like I had to short at least I got it cut down. Use paint that's like a fine sand. Plastic is so easy to golf.
No. Come on. There we go.
Splash down.
Yep, this is one of those ones where it'll do it eventually, but it's a pain in the butt. And there is it's kind of hard to see, but there's a white hook, plastic hook that goes like that to keep the belt underneath it. You just want to make sure you got it on there and that the belt is flat. You can see it. It's not turned or warped or anything like that. So it's in.
So he literally took the same route to where I met him.
We often get questions like, well, my turntable wobbles. That is not too much of a problem because there's circuitry in the player that will take care of the timing, just little timing.
Yeah, everything in here basically, all the stuff inside here compensates for a bad turntable or a bad disc. That's what,
The servos take care of it because they knew it was going to happen.
Yep.
Brilliantly engineered system.
25 miles.
Again, too, if this ever, like, you can see it's kind of rusty, I'll put some oil in there, like if it's really bad, which I'm probably going to do it on this one. It's not much, it's just enough so that it stops sticking.
I assume in the news maybe put a pulse, if they sit on the cob, it'll just like one of the I literally physically watching pretty much 30 miles. You could literally take a picture of that. I think that's the main killer. It's Route 41. Nicholas, yeah.
You'll know when you got it because it clicks together and it raises the metal with it.
Oh, yeah.
And another thing is there's that plastic cover right there. Sometimes it'll get warped and scrape the bottom.
Exactly, you'll hear that. That's good. I forgot all about that.
That would be a heck of a warp.
Oh, trust me, they do it. People leave it in their garage for 30 years in the highest of heat. Plastic starts to buckle up like that.
Just by taking it out and bending it and making the screw holes slightly larger.
And you can even reuse a strip screw, but just don't over tighten them. They're not going to fall out.
But that's right, yes, right now.
Okay.
Literally take Route 50.
Put this back on. And there is a hole there, but that's when this part's flipped over. There's only one screw in it.
I'm one of those people that's like, oh, I'm going to just put it next to my VCR.
So that's the servo board, is it not? Or just the control board?
This is the control board.
Just the control
and
board.
the LCD
With the
display.
there's a CPU on there.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. This one is one of those ones. You want to clean it again. What it is, it's metal to plastic, so you want to use the phono lube.
The next day, $50 home with the staff.
front or the back?
The rest is history. Yeah, $50. I got 50 discs in a player, a stereo, and it worked great. Years, and then the belt started slipping it, and then I got other players. It was like, okay, I'll only use this one.
You don't gotta get crazy with it. I mean, you want it to be good, but it always catches on this plastic anyways, so you know what I mean? It's gonna do what it wants to do no matter how much you put on there.
It's really surprising how much of a difference that little bit of phono lube on there makes when you're loading and unloading your disc.
Yep.
It's just, that's part of it.
But they were.
Get up there. There it is. Kind of want to get it set all the way back first. Then go down again. Make sure it's free. You're not binding up anywhere. And you can feel how much better that feels. It's just crazy.
I heard him say retrograde.
No, well, no.
It's for clean and fall. And is it to get things a lot lighter? No, it's just to clean the, it's like a protectant.
Oh, you like armor all?
No.
Is that bracket made of plastic or made of?
This is a metal one.
They come in plastic.
Yeah, black plastic. Those ones, I feel like they don't they have like a more sturdier spring? Like,
Yeah.
it's a little stronger. But that's before you test the player. Again, you want to do this because it will. Without that, you won't know if the belt is bad because it has nothing stopping it. So you'll think it's great and it's working great. But then when you take the disc out and try it again, the tension on this might not allow it. It'll sit there and go, like basically goes like this, skips. You'll only let it go so far because that motor, that belt is too weak to actually pull it forward. It's just one of those ones. And this, I'll put these screws in here, but this is when I would test the player. Put a well-known, good-known Stylus in there. John's a great idea is always have, like I said, I've told you, C+ type Stylus on you for testing. So if it breaks or something happens, you don't care. If a disc damages it, or I even do it for testing discs the first time. But
Yeah, grainy old Stylus. Perfectly for that.
this is a stereo one for sure. It's a 15, but I don't know the condition of this one, so I wouldn't test with it. But you can. But I have some set aside, so I would do it with that. But I put these screws back on. It's got a little bit of movement, so it's one of those ones you kind of want to get screws in, set them in, and then do it.
Yeah, that's right.
And that, for real, is the full, just basic, normal mechanical servicing of the F players, the G players, one of the Sears, anything that's a clone of these, they're all the same.
Zenith.
Yep, Zenith. The Zenith 2000. Everything looks like it runs, it moves. The only thing left to do now is test it, turn it on, try a disc, and then you can hopefully, if there is any problems, you can kind of track it down.
Do you have an SGT200 here?
No, I don't. Well, someone does. Vinny does.
I do.
Only because there's a belt, additional belt.
Oh, the 250. Yeah. The 250's got it's auto
I don't have a
loads.
250.
Yeah, we just a 200 here. But yeah, the 250 is the old. It's
And people don't
everything's the same.
That extra belt on.
Yep. There's a gear right here instead of that. The motor lowers and raises. Literally the same thing, just does it with the
A
gear.
load belt.
And it's a tiny little low belt. You can get them from Tom, but that's one of the ones. But yeah, we can try this, or we can just set aside and go to the next the JKs.
Don't even put the top on. I'll go grab
Did you want to show how to align the cams? Because my 100 doesn't have the cams are way.
Just leave artifacts on the television, like there's no static. Yeah, I like the artifacts. I like the makes it.
So why would there be a stereo Stylus in that player?
Someone replaced it. Yeah, there's no point for it. It's a mono
I'm
player.
pretty sure I
The
got this
only
from the
reason, like
original
mine,
owner.
that was in a stereo player. It's because I had a working Stylus. That's the only reason why.
Also, another way to tell.
Could there be a way to cheat on that? Because let's say you put a stereo stylus in there, right?
Yeah.
And let's say you run it through the the back of a hi-fi stereo VCR through the RF, and then you're splitting the AV stereo. Wouldn't it theoretically play it back to stereo?
Linear stereo.
Yeah, it wouldn't be like
It'd be linear stereo.
Yeah, because this CED Stylus, really the only difference is that red bumper.
Yep.
And that is it. It makes this stereo. It's a joke, but you will tend to, like, a lot of times putting a stereo in a
Just like when I stage, like,
we have power.
Chrome for a second.
That's a good thing.
You'll be able to find it. There's people that like order it. Yeah.
So everyone's on heads and
Yeah.
different nice and smooth.
And that was in what year?
Looking good so far.
Yep.
There is.
We'll see if it plays past the, what did you say, minute?
It doesn't even go to 0.
There it is.
So like,
Look at that.
That might have been your Stylus. It's working good.
Solid picture.
Yeah, good color. No black and white. Yeah. Skip that real quick. Yeah, you don't see any. Yeah, no color fading.
It's not getting that black and white color, so it's
Yep. Yep.
Tried another
Turntable
Stylus
speed is
once.
proper.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pictures of it.
just rub your feet on the carpet real fast and then
How is search working?
Continuing anything? Let's see, I did Hamlet a while back, didn't I, Liz? And then we did the...
Yeah, I think, and another thing I do too is you take a marker and you just put a line on there so you can actually see the gear move, because sometimes you're like, is it moving? And you also see, like, if it does its little weird skip rewind.
yeah.
So it's just easier visual. You can identify it.
Sometimes the belt crawls towards the back of the cam.
Originally the smallest apartment was a 9, they've been broken up.
You want to try the search mode?
Yep.
A 7E is a 4. Risen back
Should be written on the cage too, or maybe that's the.
It is. You're right. I was looking at that.
Do the other direction. Yeah, that's good.
Yep.
It's a nice clear scan.
Yeah.
That's another way to work the grease that you just put in on to the gears.
Give her the old how you doing. Decent.
This is another one I like to see is the pause. See how long it takes to get back from pause.
Quick.
That one's pretty
A
good.
second and a half. Maybe.
Yeah, because there's a lot of times you'll hear the stylus even click trying to go down. Yeah, I mean, this seems like it's playing good to go.
Score. So then the stylus, I guess I'll give to John to either clean or rebuild for me.
Why don't you test it first? Put it back in there and test
Yeah,
it.
ever since you're right. It's been maintained. You can try it out
True.
again. You never know.
Could have just needed the service.
Question came up earlier. How do you know the turntable height is set properly? Like, causing me, this is one of the things. It depends upon how long it takes from go to pause to the picture again.
Yeah,
The longer the
right.
time may indicate it's
It's low.
low.
Yeah, all right.
Oh.
But it could be the stylus too, so you need to.
Keep that in your old brain box for later.
Yeah.
I'll forget all that. I'll email somebody. I'll go on Facebook and be like mass email. Somebody tell me what I forgot. Please.
You got the little paintbrush to maybe. I remember you guys were saying about like maybe brushing off the stylus or something.
Yeah,
like
you
that.
can do that. You just want to be very careful.
Yep.
Use a really fine, good quality artist brush.
Yep.
Yeah, if you got to
Whatever
spend
they say.
$5-10 on it, do it. It's worth it.
Anything-
Not a Q-tip.
Never try to clean the diamond.
Somebody was using the Mr. Clean
The
sponge for
picture
a
is
while.
not
You just
picked up by the diamond.
I remember
take it
that.
off.
Yeah.
And I still can't bring myself
Shading
to.
edge on there.
I just feel like you could easily
And if you
go
rub
south
that
with
off,
the.
it's goodbye to that tip.
Yeah, that stylus needs to be redone.
Yep.
It's trying. It's trying.
Yeah.
But see, if you advance it, it's perfect. I never got that.
It's the Stylus. Just you need to have him touch it.
All right.
Will you touch my stylus?
I'm not touching that one.
I'm curious to see if there's like a lint ball stuck to it or something.
Yeah.
So a dusty.
Might as well keep it out. But yeah, everything seems to be functioning on that one. But like I said, you could have been a player that had the weird.
I just didn't, you know, intended to, but didn't. It's probably on my kitchen table.
Yeah, it's the thought that counts.
I don't.
Thank you. Makes me feel a little bit better. Not much though.
Thank you for finding that.
Intentions. There's a saying like if intention was money or something, I'd be a millionaire.
The road to ruin is paved with good intentions.
Yeah, that's it.
Red cap I can borrow.
I don't. I didn't bring any Stylus except these kind with me.
Okay.
It's nice to see you them do one videotape so you can actually put this on the site because there's no good descriptions of how. Now I got 20 megs up.
Still has the shipping screws.
Cool. That's good to know. I wouldn't have turned it on without him, but.
Do you think I'd really bring up players though that didn't have locks in it? Which kind of everybody's getting.
Well, if it was against your will.
These players are so much easier to do the regular maintenance on. It's a joke.
Yeah, I'll just put it under the table for now.
And then
Pull
when
it back
you
up
need to
to
test
test
this one,
Yep.
those are nice little TVs too.
Yeah.
Those work really good for this.
I brought my little mini portable, but it's black and white. So.
It's worth buying a little TV for testing these.
You can even get like a little Watchman. You get an adapter.
That's what I well, not the Watchman, but the next big thing.
But even the
Yeah,
I don't think it's that bad.
I think it's the metallized coating on it that's gone away.
I mean, it looks like it's just easy. Yeah, you can see the chisel points on it a little bit.
I'm sure John posted a picture from his microscope of a dirty one next to a clean one. Right. And the dirty one looks like it's got like a hair.
Yep, that's the guy that even though it's still, I like
Someone just sold something on eBay.
I did, somebody did, was that me? No.
Usually the most busy.
That was mine.
Okay, question on the platter there. It's got the two little balance arms on it.
This is how we fund our trips.
Do they really do anything?
They act as a kind of ground.
I sold 3
It's a ground.
If you put those back on there, it'll cause damage to this.
Yeah. And then some of them only have one.
Right.
You might see that.
Yeah, I know.
Kids are out.
I have some that have one. I have some
I
that.
bought for $1 for like 38.
That one needs a belt too.
That's right.
It's got a belt on it, but
I think that's newer. I think I put it in there.
That sound.
Yeah,
I'm ruthless. Everybody else use elastic bands.
yeah, this one's good.
Yep, I thought I replaced that. So I stripped everything down and I did it.
Okay.
Boy, that's a clean machine.
Yeah.
Did you clean it before?
No, it's this.
I strip them down and clean them before I do anything with them.
Is there anything wrong with this one?
Well, I want to make sure because I never had it. I goofed with it myself, and I know how my goofing is sometimes. And I just want to make sure that it's dead red.
Right on. Well, you know what? Sometimes it's easier.
Has that got the? There's supposed to be like a little foam thing under this.
Yeah, it's right here. It goes in between this right here and that.
That's just like people that take their video
Sometimes it's easier to do this stuff without that belt on.
Oh, that's genius.
Yeah, that's the easiest way.
Man,
Just do it back at the end.
sat there like,
Oh yeah, you rip the hell out of your finger doing this all day. I've just tore it up, so I've just started not using. You know, I mean, I wait till I'm about to put it together, and this is the last thing I do.
That looks infinitely smarter.
Yep, and it helps you clean the rollers too. You can just set a Q-tip on there with rubbing alcohol.
That's a common thing
And let it
too.
run through. Yeah.
People,
You
it
want to
won't
clean
take
those.
the caddy all the way, or it won't.
It won't
keep
pull it in
or it won't pull
enough,
it in all
and it
the
also
way,
sometimes won't
or it
release
kick
it
it out all the way.
It's crazy.
That's one of the reasons why I don't keep the screws.
Do we have any rubbing alcohol?
I brought
some.
Can I see some?
I'm sure somebody did.
If we're gonna do it, we might as well do it right.
I know one of my players is due for the roller cleaning. And I was just dreading it because I knew I was going to have to spend like a half an hour messing around.
Just on both, it's seriously that easy.
Yeah, I think I did hear something about that.
So
what's up?
Well, I was going to say, the way, oh no, that's to get the stylus to go backwards. I would take the gear train and move it this way.
Yeah, that's, yes.
And then she goes live.
Like that was basically, that was the beginning.
Yeah, there's Day and Kelly's Island. Kelly's Island. And the whole reason put Day at so it's mostly Kelly's Island.
You're a lot faster at this
Lots of players. Lots and lots of players.
Well, where I grew up.
Because he's a laser disc together.
Is the Q-tip nasty?
I already said I'm going to.
Not really. It was pretty clean. But that little bit, you know, can make the caddy slip.
Right? I mean, I'm sorry. I think I could pull
I think that rubber probably hardens with age too, doesn't it?
I haven't had any feel that way, but I mean, it very well could. It's only been, what, like 30, 40, it could be more.
It probably depends on the region you live in too. I mean,
In Florida, it's going to be good.
yeah. Well, how cold does it get up to where you live? In the negatives frequently?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, not inside your house.
No.
I mean,
We have furnaces up there.
That's pretty clean.
It's like I told you, if you don't ice fish all the time, you don't play hockey or follow
If
it.
you have some left in here, you can always put it like right there. See, like right where it holds the bottom rollers. A lot of times you'll hear squeaking that'll annoy you when it's loading, and it's those. A couple other things. But it never hurts to do it. It's literally just a tiny bit.
When I turn my 90 on, you can hear the gears clash together. It goes. I'm like, all right, that's gonna not happen much longer.
Well, now two.
Feels good.
Post stuff on there.
I mean, I'll post every. I'll post until I finally got rid of that Tech 8. I wish I would have sold that to you, but I know you tested this.
This you gotta rotate it so that it thinks it's gonna play a disc.
A lot of people want to test.
It won't go anymore. Don't force it. You'll break these, you break something over there, you break that gear, the coupling rod.
The rod hit the ceiling.
Exactly. You feel it, just let it stop. This kind of turn that way. And when you pull this up, you want to do it carefully because there's a space here basically. It's like exactly, thrust plate washer or whatever. But if you're lucky, it stays in. If you're unlucky, it sticks to the magnet on here. If you're real unlucky, it's gone or you lost it.
I think Josh found two in a player the other day.
But you kind of lift it up, go back.
That was how I got my
It's not in a horrible hurry to get.
There's that. There it is. Thrust plate washer. And that it's that down here.
that Mystery Man.
Yeah, that's fine. But
show and it's sealed.
you want to drop it back in?
I bought all that just so I could use Mystery Man for free.
That's it. Looks like a little bit of corrosion, but
Yeah, hey, if it works though.
yeah.
That's an easy thing to replace too. I think you'd have to literally physically unstake it though. I think, and even in the manual, they tell you to just take pliers and unwrap it instead of like melting the solder.
I just replaced the motor.
Okay, I will.
Measure out 30 seconds. I don't know why it's 15/16,
Yeah,
but
well,
it's awesome that they say that.
They wanted to be
Okay, this is how you set it, huh?
Yep. Well, to know that this is where it's at. When you get this set, now you can know that adjusting down there is going to get you the real results you need. Like
Fine tune it down
That
there.
can get put. That,
You'll fine tune it from underneath.
Yep,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's something.
But you want this to be at the right proper height, which is
it's just like a friction.
30 seconds.
All right.
I could probably move this one up a little. It looks okay though.
And
You want to be able to pass over it. You don't want to be like where you're like,
I'm like, dude, I got PMs and
you know what I mean? But at 30 seconds, you should be good. You literally just hit it to move it. And then
Yeah.
I would put super glue down in that hole, that little right there, and just let it sit. I don't have to right now, I'm not gonna. But if you want to do it, it's something you can do. The quickest way to dry it too is the fans with the metal shields, guards, the magnet sticks to it. You just set it on there, and it dries the glue in not even 5 minutes, you know?
That's funny.
Keith, you might need a replacement for those for that one. I wonder if that's why a lot of these
Actually,
yeah, absolutely.
This is a player I got for service. It came in shipped.
Yep.
And unfortunately, this is happening a lot these days.
I wonder how much people have actually had that happen and then they're trying something else to fix it.
When this turns, it goes. This has to be set up like that.
Yep.
Now, this is not damaged by the shipping. This is internal damage in the machine itself, caused by the plate. So there's hardly anything you can do to preserve this in shipping, because it's going to happen anyway.
Right, the shipping locks can't stop
Yes, if
that.
somebody drops it like that, or you drop it on your table, it'll do it. This is a sad thing. These do not ship well, these players.
No, they don't. That glue, sometimes you might be okay.
Super glue is the right thing to use.
Is the plastic
It's a spline.
And so?
Yep, give it a push, you'll see.
Yep.
It looks like a nice,
You're not gonna hurt it.
nice clean.
Is there any way to save that? Or is it too far gone now?
No, the super glue, like I was talking about.
It's going back into the specifications.
You
Yeah.
get it to 30 seconds or 15/16 and put the glue in there and let it dry,
Spins in
and
there.
it'll hold that shaft enough to where it won't.
That's an
I mean,
extreme-
it might mess up in shipping again if someone throws it, but it's gonna survive.
It can happen on the G players as well.
Yep.
Not often.
No. Like I had it happen. Out of all the players I've seen it on one of like an SFT, and again, you just push it back down and glue it. But Omni oil in here. You don't want to go crazy, but you don't want to put too little.
It's molded in. I really don't know. But the mold, it's broken. It's just the way. It's
Still what it became.
And he's doing well. He's not going to glue it in.
Yeah, it would take too long for us to have it dry right now. There's just no point.
Certainly, if you service the machine, I'd do a good push on it to make sure that's solid.
Yep.
Because it can move a little bit sometimes, and it's going to throw your height adjustment off.
I think what I've been using for lubrication on that was real oil.
I've used CLP and there's a guy
The real oil works better on the plastics, I think, because, you know, like for fishing reels, when I worked for Cabela's for 6 years, so, you know, people buy that real stuff for fishing lures, and it works pretty good. But I don't suppose it sticks or stays forever. It's cold right now.
And then sometimes if you look from the side, and then check. Sounds good for now. You won't really know till you play a disc and it gets up to 450 RPMs and you can tell. But it sounds, for now, like it should.
You notice the turntable wobbles a bit. That's not a problem. If it wobbles a lot,
Yeah.
But those bearings are in good shape too, because spin, it keeps spinning. Those are good. Bearings are in good shape.
What was I going to say? Oh, the other time you can hear this. I'm going to do it real quick. You see that? Yeah. This goes up. Or if it's too low, like it's set point, like it just... You'll hear that too. It's just one other thing you might want to check if it happens. Or if you hear it.
Now, would that cap be considered in good shape then too?
It is in good shape. I would replace it no matter what. That's just me, but you don't have to. It's smooth. It's fine. It's just, you can tell it's hard. It's hard plastic now.
And they're supposed to be soft.
I don't... Were they originally soft?
Not super soft.
Okay, but the replacement ones that you find are soft, and you're just like, yeah, I'd rather have that pushing a disc up than this.
So where do you find those?
Tom sold them, but I think you can just get them at any hardware store. It's like hook cover ends.
Metal construction for cupboards and things like that have these on.
The wire racks. And
the wire rack is,
or something.
Yep. These things are, I mean, for like grease and oil, these things are infinitely easier than the F&Gs. It's a joke. But I always do this. You always got to. And you can kind of see there's a Stylus sweep in there.
Yep.
It moves. Sometimes those are real dirty. Get a brush, do something, you know what I mean? But it slides. See if it still slides. And sometimes, do you still have the replacement pad for that? The felt?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I've not had an order.
Okay.
Tell people to take a small vacuum cleaner and just vacuum.
Sometimes that will kind of peel off and fall off though. And you should see what it does to a stylus.
Yeah, well, I've seen some where just, you know, it's got like lines of the felt missing from the stylus going home every time.
You should have called Guinness or something. Taking pictures. Like, hey, the guy has every single CED ever made.
But the 400 is most important because it, for carrier distress, it needs to wipe the stylus or it's just going to keep clicking and clicking and clicking.
Again, this, I'll always put in my own stylus that I know is tested good. But always gotta check it.
Skip the movies that I like and the stuff that I don't want.
You can't tell it being a guy, but it seems okay.
Stuff that's working.
We'll use something else. This come off. Just make sure you put it back on the right way. It's the two top ones.
Those are going to my grave.
And a lot of times when you hear like that clicking where it's trying to set the stylus, it's this.
Oh, that's okay.
That's correct.
And it's just trying to set the stylus or where it wants to. But again, you have a bad stylus, you'll hear that click like 5 times, and then it might set.
I ask a lot of times if somebody, it's like, my player has the double dashes and it won't make a noise. I'm like, would you hear it clicking a bunch of times? It's setting the stylus down, but the stylus isn't giving it any feedback. It's not picking up any DAXI lines.
Exactly.
So like, just because the stylus set down works doesn't mean that the stylus is good.
These have had grease before, you can see it on some of them. I normally will grease them. I'll grease them anyways. But it's one of those ones you, a little bit, the gears will move it around. I also take the here, Omni oil. And I set it on this bar right here. I wipe that bar with it. I'll do it in a sec.
And I'm pretty sure at some point in time I'm going to have to get down from like 25, 30 players I have down to like 1 or 2.
I'll buy a majority of yours.
That's your wife's problem, not yours.
I know where they'll all end up going. That's the bad part.
You and me both.
My kids don't want anything to do with it. They don't want... No.
If I were to keel over right now, what my wife would do to my collection, I don't know.
That should be enough to keep you going forever.
Oh, I know. That's why I fight.
No one.
Keep us in the loop.
Believe me, I want to retire.
Work the oil in, just so you know that it's a smooth operation. Ooh, that was a hiccup and a half. And you can see inside.
Pretty smooth.
You can see there's a cover over the ribbon where it connects to the front panel. It looks fine right now, so I'm not going to mess it. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Beast.
But normally in my, like for me, I'll take it apart like that. I'll just, the whole thing comes, you know, not going to do it. But
It's a pain to...
Wait, hang on. Do that again?
I always like
Okay.
And you want to have the stylus arm away when you do that, because you'll break that plastic. You don't need it, because you can literally just tape that ribbon back down with connectors. But when you do that, you gotta do this.
Sometimes there's a clear piece of plastic, and when you're trying to put the lid back on, it's like up in the way.
It goes over
Yep,
finagle it down.
and it'll stop the power bar power button from working.
Yeah.
The hard part on the 400 is getting that plastic cover that goes on the over the connector back on. Yeah.
So for the top part, this is pretty much done. Like it's that ridiculous.
He fixes everything.
February.
How did that get looped around that? I don't want that. Here, don't go.
Did the spring break away from it?
No, it's like looped around a wire.
What year was the 400X made in? Is that an 84 model too? I'm trying to think now. I wish I had remembered what the serial number on it was.
Does anybody figure out what the X is for? Do you know them?
Yes, there's an extra connector at the back. They wanted to match it up with a simple computer at that time and drive the electronics.
Got that, Josh?
What's the name of that little computer that at that time? Commodore 64. And there's the one 120 as well.
Where's the extra? You normally don't have to deal with this spring. But for some reason it was looped around that.
Does Tom still have his?
I can't believe I just touched that. I hope that was okay.
There's an extra port that's supposed to come out of the back or on the inside.
None of us, I don't think, ever thought we'd see control architects. It's like one of those.
Put all the other four.
The man, the myth, the mystery. Yeah.
But on the X, they've done additional circuitry for interface with the
I don't know.
It was a dealer.
I was told that the X meant executive, and it was like these came off the line in between J and K, and they wanted the executives to test them. It sounds plausible, but I don't think that's the case. But it seemed
Stylus.
yeah, and that's the Valley Stylus for the game cabinet. But really, the only difference between the Valley Stylus and the regular ones is it's got like a durability package. It has like a bigger rubber buffer in it, and I think like a slightly thicker coating on the stylus tip itself.
Yeah.
But I don't even know if that's for sure. I read so much stuff on the internet, and I try to recall that information.
I don't know where you find it because I look for all this crap and I can
CED
never
Magic
find it.
has so much stuff on it, but if you find something and then try to find it 2 months later,
You're not gonna find
you're not gonna find it. Yeah, I mean, and I'm really mad too because I had like 50 different bookmarks from CED Magic, and then Firefox did like a really serious update, and I lost all my bookmarks, so I can't reference a lot of things as quickly as I used to. Like somebody was asking, wasn't there like some video disc that was, he was referring to the 84 video systems disc, and I posted a picture like, is this what you're referring to? Because it just, for me, it was easier for me to go in my collection and take a picture of the disc than to go look through the thing and try to find it.
Reselling these titles.
I don't think that project lasted too long. I mean, the disc is going to wear out. The stylus is going to wear out forever.
Well, this couldn't be more of a
The
pain.
discs will wear out before the stylus will.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Finally.
Well, that's why they were double-sided, I think. They had the same program on both sides.
Tiny
They knew
little
it would
things.
play
Just
time.
you can bug you all day.
Tell me about it.
How recently do you suppose those machines were still in service in arcades?
Maybe up to 1990, maybe.
I forgot about this.
Really? That early they were already
They'd
fired?
have been done by the time the system
I mean, that was the
done.
first game that ever took $1 bill.
That was a lot.
And that was a lot of money to play games, so a lot of people probably just scoffed at it. You know, like $1, psh, I'm gonna go play 10 other machines. And, you know, and then that was it.
I saw Space Age, not Space Age, Dragon's Lair machines in the 90s up in Geneva, Ohio. And people were still playing it.
I think they were 50 cents a piece.
It was, yeah, it was still 50 cents then, and everyone's going.
Everyone died.
So that is all the top, just regular maintenance for these players.
There was no instructions on the cabinet.
No, I had
So
no idea.
nobody knew how to
remember
play it.
You could get maybe about 30 seconds in the game and you're dead. And you only get like
Is there anywhere that says you can or can't flip a player upside down? Because
to what? Fix it or play it?
Well, not to play it. No.
I was gonna say, yeah, you'll never play it.
Like right now, you have it upside down. I don't think anything is gonna go awry in there, but something inside of me says don't turn them upside down.
I put those
and I think it's the thrust washer.
Yeah, yeah. As long as the turntable stays in, you're pretty good.
I put those pads on there myself so they don't scratch. They're nothing special.
This is the only screw that doesn't have like a little plastic washer around it. They break all the time, so.
Are they necessary to replace when they break, or could the screw be used just by itself?
I've used it by itself, but I don't know if it's the exact proper way. But
It just penetrating in the machine just a bit more. I'm not sure it causes a problem.
this is what this is for. This you got to be careful with. If you over tighten this, you can totally snap it.
I get quite a number of orders for this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's it. You saw that part too.
Yes. It's actually a bolt with a screw inside.
Yeah, the set screw.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Seems like that little rotor is always gone.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's always gone too. That raises and lowers right there, and there's just a Allen wrench hole right there. But you have to take that off in order to get the whole thing off.
So now can you look at the playback circuits and tell if they're good, bad, or ugly or without hooking it up to an oscilloscope? Or
I mean, you could physically see, if it's bad, you'll see it, but you're probably not gonna. If you take this whole board out and set it to the side, whatever, where the cords are, it just sets, and you can actually just put that back on, like upside down, and just set it there, put that back in, and play it. Okay. And that's how you actually get to the service points.
That's a hairy operation in itself.
Mm-hmm. It absolutely is.
You're afraid that shorted out wires against the chassis, whatnot.
Yep.
I've got another machine I brought along too. It's not getting good sound, and I don't know if it's the board or it's something else. Because I've tried different parts in it and it still has the same. Okay. So I'm thinking it's on the board.
Does it have a stereo output?
Yes.
You can get the same result on both the stereo outputs, the A and the B, or?
Yeah, I don't think I can sound out either one.
Okay.
If it is, it's really muffled. It's really low.
Yeah, D-bod or the IC can be gone.
Okay.
Does it work out of the coax and not RCA?
No, same. I think it's a sound board or the video board.
Does anyone have scissors or a knife?
It's dull.
It don't matter. I just gotta get this.
Now I had a J400 that was having a sound issue where it would be kind of quiet and a little bit crackly, and Justin was telling me that it was like a grounding issue. That there was like something in the player that wasn't grounded properly or something. But then shortly after that, it fixed itself. I haven't done it since, so I don't know.
This board.
Discs that play quieter.
I think that Ryan's going to show you.
Yeah. I service this board every time, no matter what.
Absolutely.
No matter, it becomes. That's why I want to do the 400. It just becomes part of it. You ever see the stuff that Tom has for the Peltier junction or whatever to cool down whatever in here? Mm-hmm. That's not the problem. It kind of fixes it, but it's only because you pull the connection off to open this board, and you kind of clean it by doing that. But it'll go right back to doing what it's doing. But you take this off, you pop these, I'll do it. You gotta pop these off.
There's a 4-pin connector on this board that gets oxidized through time. And what he's going to do is to clean it, and that's going to fix the problem. If you didn't have the problem before, you won't have it.
Yeah, it works every time. I've never had it not fix that OSD bleeding screen where it says please load disk and it's blurry.
Yep.
Or it's fuzzy.
It's fuzzy.
Yeah, this fixes that every time.
Okay. Because I'll get it where it'll jitter a little bit.
Yeah, it looks fine, and then all of a sudden it like bleeds.
And I don't know if that's just from digital TV or.
It's this.
It is.
RCA put a technical fluids on this fix. Why Tom came out with changing an IC, I don't know, because RCA knew about this.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't.
Well, he said it was an overheating condition, right?
Yeah.
Tom said it was overheating.
Okay, I want to get this so you can see it.
Yeah, you hooked the cooling fan up to pin 7 of J5.
That connection right there is what causes the OSD bleeding. The on-screen display bleeding. Okay. That's it. Nothing else causes it. I've never had this not work on a player that had it. Every single time. But it's fun to put back together.
Doesn't look like it would be.
But all you need is contact cleaner.
A little technology packed in a little square there for the time.
Yeah. That's it. Exercise in and out, and it's done.
Is that from like dissimilarity of metals or like electrolysis, or is it just like humidity?
It's just those connectors. Those look like Molex connectors. They do that all the time.
Yep. That's a good question. I asked somebody in RCA a long time ago about this. He said, we're in a transition time. We're talking about 1980 between digital electronics and analog stuff, TV set connectors, and a number of things. These are machines where we haven't got it right yet. Okay. This is why the damn silly display here is a film. You see, that doesn't work with TV use.
I see.
And I got a feeling this is an old TV type of connector.
Yeah, that is.
Right.
Yeah, because it's just a standard Molex.
It was just that got the job done for them at the time.
Yep, it got the job.
And they had
the guy who designed it was a TV set designer.
Yeah, he was fond of it or something, so he said, let's keep using it.
The tin plating's cheap on them, so
yeah,
it just oxidizes, so.
Yeah, it's probably. We've got 500,000 rolls of this.
Yes.
Yeah, it's in our stock. Why not?
Heathgate used thousands of them and things, and they made a terminal that has hundreds of those connectors. Not one of those terminals works now.
Seriously, I mean, that looked kind of easy, but that's a pain in the ass, I promise you. It is not fun. But that will clean that, I'll take care of that problem.
That's going to do it forever.
Yep. And people will look at that too, like it's a game ender problem. They're like, oh, it's done, it'll never work again.
So if you're watching this on a digital TV, a lot of times will you get a little motion blur with that? I've noticed on some players and some discs.
Depends.
Just because
I think
it's digital from analog?
More a function of the TV set,
Right.
How it can deal with signal with slight timing errors on it.
Okay.
Some digital TVs can do it, some cannot. So.
Right.
And the same would happen if you put a VCR signal into a TV as well.
That would be off. It'll be just a little.
Speaking of on-screen display, I'm probably the only one who's noticed this because I'm the only one, well, until now, had one hooked up to an actual Dementia television. But because the player has an on-screen display, it puts the display at the top of the screen. But when you have a Dementia, it goes to the bottom. So when you push the power button on the player, it turns the television, the tuner, whatever that you want on. Sometimes when I hit the power button, it won't swap the language, and then there's text over text. And sometimes when I turn the player on or off, it does it the correct way. And like the next time I'll turn it on, it won't be the same. And I can't for the life of me understand why it has that issue. And I don't know if you plug your 400 into your Dementia television, if you hit the power button on there, and the text doesn't go to the bottom of the screen, I don't know if that is even going to tell me something or not, because you and I are the only ones I know who could do that.
I haven't used it enough to find out.
Mine's at the bottom whenever they
With these screws and this, I don't tighten it all the way down. I kind of get everything situated because it moves. You can see. If you tighten it down one, two, on that, it's not going to go. So I try to get them, in, and then start tightening stuff down.
That's experience.
That almost sounds like it should be like a computer code thing.
I wonder.
They do it in like sequences.
Yeah.
So if you like jump a sequence, it might mess it up.
Like I've tried to hold the power button before letting it go. I've tried to just push it real quick, and sometimes it does it, sometimes it doesn't. Lately, it seems like it's been doing it the correct way more and more frequently. But every now and then I'll turn it on and the display will get stuck on top, and then there will be text over it, like vid 2 will be over, please load disk, and I'm like, what's going on?
That's weird. I don't think I've messed around with my Dementia enough to have that.
It's probably,
or see it.
Yeah, and I mean, even the fact that it happens, it's not actually harming anything, so, I'm not going to go taking the whole thing apart to try to fix it, but if I'm doing something wrong, I'd like to know.
Absolutely.
Do all the Dementia TVs control the 400s, or is it just the first iteration of them?
I think up until 1985. Even in the original Dementia, they deleted anything pertaining to the Videodisc player.
Yeah.
It was vid 2.
Yep.
So.
But the controls are still there.
Right. Even up until the later when they took the key out, the pad is still below it. But I think it was only 83, 84, and 85 would work with that.
Just hand tighten it like that, because it'll literally pop that off.
It's not going to go anywhere either.
Exactly, it's staying. But you just hand tighten it.
But you have to back that loose in order to move the adjustment screw, right?
No, the adjustment screw, you just put a Allen in there and you can move it, and this will stay. I have had the set screw be stuck, and it will end up
I had to do
undoing
that.
this.
Mine was stuck, so I backed it off, and then I was able to loosen the set screw.
Yep.
I zipped it back.
Sometimes the set screw will basically lock up inside there, and then you will either bend your Allen key, or you'll get this to start coming off.
It was actually a 300 I got brand new in box. I had to adjust the turntable right away because it was scraping.
Okay.
And the set screw was stuck in it, presumably because it had sat for so long.
So that was all the normal service. I'm going to put that belt back on, and then make sure I set it back to home, or at least where it's,
Is this the TV?
it's there.
Yes.
I feel the need for speed.
Sean, I can't guarantee you that this
You know what? Some of those work better than some of my guns. That about.
Okay.
Because like I told him I was going to hear and he
Depends
messaged me,
on
he goes, are
whether
you
you're
still coming? I'm
daylight
like,
savings
yeah,
time
why
or not.
wouldn't I
Parts
be?
of it,
And then I
Forgot about the crime.
You know, I don't forget, I never knew.
Oh.
I didn't know the time changed when we got down to
At least you could do that, do the whole state like Arizona, you know.
And aren't there parts that don't honor the
Yeah.
any of that? Is that the two corners?
Does anyone have a known good stylus right now? I have some, I just don't. If someone has it out right now.
Let me do just something.
Yeah, go ahead. Absolutely.
Guys, this is important. I want to show you something.
Yeah, or what I'll do.
This is a player that came with the original shipping tags, RCAs. And as you know, they go in two holes in the base, and you turn them to lock them.
come in a white box.
If I didn't,
Mine's in a brown.
Yeah, mine are all brown too.
Ooh.
yeah, the Tom, you know, that was a,
Is that the Bally stylus?
you know, $1.99 buy.
I won't even look that direction. I don't even deserve, I don't rate
I'll
it.
somewhat agree to that. I will. But in his defense,
Okay,
I'm not going to argue.
we had a machine in recently, a local person bought it and said, John, we got the machine home, we couldn't even put the disc in, push the button, L comes in. I said, well, you took the shipping tabs off? Oh, no, we clipped them off.
Some of them.
Okay, what they had done is taken a piece of pliers
Wow.
and clipped off the tabs.
Oh boy.
What happens? You know what happens? The mechanism is left in the machine. This is the second time I've seen this happen.
I don't know which ones.
People
With the
don't
locks
read the
cut.
instruction books. Yeah.
Yeah, just clipped it.
Yeah.
And that'll break that gear down there.
Breaks in the VS.
It'll try to
Doesn't the red
the stylus arm and then boom.
the red tab tells you what to do? I mean,
I know.
don't you
That's,
just read that?
Maybe they couldn't
can't
be
be stupid in the past.
It does says turn left and pull down. And they did it with the pliers.
Yeah, well, we're lucky they didn't do more damage.
What we recommend.
I remember, I think it started. Hey Ryan,
You can't find them on
when did RCA
The ones you're
develop this
talking about.
I think the 60s when they developed it and we're almost ready like in the 70s.
In
And then,
78, they were ready, but then they had a problem with the PVC.
I'm pretty sure.
Use a screw that fits
They
the
said they had a
hole
problem with the PVC.
and a little warning line to take it out. This is the one we sell now.
Well, because they said the whole problem is they initially wanted
One screw is skinnier than the other, though.
yes, they are. I have
something
some.
down
I'm not sure of which
But then
ones
when
are
they figured
which,
out,
but I know some of them. Do you know why they did that? Why one shipping tab was thicker than the other? Is there really any rhyme or reason?
Engineers that probably didn't see it.
Probably needed that raise, and you need a good reason for it.
This
I need to
gear
get 6 more hours in.
the third reduction gear we sell, this is of all the parts orders we get, this is the one we get most of. If you're interested, I've got some today. Thank you.
Are those reproduction gears
No,
there?
they're brand new, they're the original.
They're still original, wow.
$3 each.
Wow.
Right? Yep, exactly. Every time I do it, here's some money.
Take money from me now.
Yeah, I'll take a couple.
Just don't know the.
It's got little plastic adjustments in it.
Oh dear.
See, there's a flexible part in there, and that breaks. And as you pointed out, it makes noises and nothing happens. It breaks a lot. It's very, very easy to replace because there's a soft nut in there.
Yeah, and it's just 2 screws to actually like pull this to the side. You can just 2 screws, pick it up a little and to the side, put the new gear on, put it right back in.
Yes, so did the SRHS 750.
Yeah, I have an early Sony that has all that stuff.
Yeah, the CD order ones.
Put it back. It will, when you turn it on, it'll bring it forward as long as everything else is right with the player, all the switches are hit.
So, yeah.
It will pull it back, but I always like to do this just so I know. Like I set it back.
Yeah, I always wondered if it actually fully knew, because I found out by accident that it went back.
The other thing is to feel the buttons.
And put it all in the second box.
Oh no, I shipped them in their original boxes. They arrived intact.
Audio AB is a little questionable, but it feels like it's there because it's just like a film and it has a bubble, and that pushes down and makes contact, and that activates that part, that function.
That's right. You got to.
And they suck. Those suck. All right. This.
How do you fix that then, the audio AB?
Well,
take the
you have
front panel off.
front panel replacement. You either get a whole new front panel that you know works, or there's, like I do it, John does it, there's micro switches that you have to drill holes, put them in, glue them, and then solder them up.
It
and then
works about
bring it back to the bring it back up to the ribbon.
I had John do one for me a few years ago in Platter. Night and day.
If you can work with a small soldering iron tip, it's not a big job to do.
I can see that.
I would
That wouldn't
totally do that if I had to.
Yeah.
Those membrane switches and a lot of the things from the 80s just absolutely
The bubble cracks or you know
it gets pushed into hard.
I like to get it to where the door closes. That's where I usually have the best luck of it not messing up or breaking the transfer rod. But again, if you hear something, just jam the power or unplug it. It's about the best you're gonna get.
So we actually.
Let's see what this does. You see how it just reset it right to where it needed to be in its natural state, basically?
Put it on there and it
Seems like it works.
Is the TV on?
We're very lucky.
Clever idea, so.
Plugged in?
That's another way, like if the gears are stuck, like if you don't want to take that off or the belt's good, you can just hold the Q-tip there and turn it on and off.
Yeah.
If your machine's a 400, you can remove the front panel completely and operate it with a remote. That checks all the circuits.
I was telling them about that earlier. Exactly, it helps. It will save you so much time on figuring out if the panel is bad or the player is bad, because the panel is just way easier to fix.
Run the AV now.
Let's try Rosemary's Baby.
Let's see here. I'm trying to remember.
Oh, check is the channel switcher on channel 4?
No, we got it through AV.
Oh, AV?
Yep,
Oh,
it's
awesome.
AV.
Okay, there we go.
Yep.
That's video 3 up front.
Is that what it is?
Cool. Yep, please load disc.
Yeah, it's stable now.
It's bleeding. It's bleeding.
Takes the disc in and out. That's another thing. These springs and a couple other things can mess up on you, and that'll help. That'll make it not want to grab the disc. Again, it's something you got to just start poking around with and figure it out. But you can find that part on other players. There's stuff you can do, but you really just got to get into it.
Notice not only does the transfer rod touch the disc, but the disc is wedged up against these when it's coming down. It's picked up against those. Some players don't have these either, or they're black.
Yep, exactly. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Well, that looks crisp.
Started working at 0. It's good to go. Stylus is good. We know that for sure.
Yeah.
Start 10 seconds.
Okay, since I've got a 200 that has, like, see where the little indentation comes out, that little bar there?
Yeah.
Yep, it's got like a clips that open up like this and clips that go. Yep. Why do some have that and some don't?
John might know, but I've seen it, like, it's with the disc. I know exactly what you're talking about. That's that.
Yep.
On the actual spline.
Yep.
I don't know why. I've never known.
Because the 200s have them, and none of the other ones did.
It must have been one of those things that are like, this will be good. And then they're like, no, we don't need that. And the rest, 300, 400 didn't.
They didn't need to spend the money in the long run.
All right, let's test
stereo disc.
Let's get a stereo disc.
Do you have one that has dual audio?
I wish I did.
Does anyone have a Jane Fonda's workout?
I have a stereo test disc we could use.
I don't know if that's more for hooking it up to the oscilloscope.
Oh yeah, I don't know if it it has stereo bands, but I don't think it plays them at the same time. It plays one and the
I
other.
watched that not that long ago.
I watched that Rod Stewart disc is pretty good.
So this might be the last 400 in existence sealed, you know, or close to it.
For real.
The last time this in daylight was.
You can bring it over here if you want more room.
Yeah, 79 Dodge Diplomat.
That would have been pretty.
Josh was September 21st, 1983.
I would have made it. It runs
Based on the serial number.
Serial numbers tell you.
Well,
I don't doubt Chrysler.
So here we go.
Except the PT.
I hope it's not cinder blocks because I paid a premium for this.
It's a 5-speed though. You don't have to
The easy thing to do is turn on the receiver. The dial on the left.
Okay, this is it. Watch the bugs fly out.
The moth can fly out. there are two big styles on
Do you want to look at that, Josh? You wanted to see the...
Look at that. Yeah, that's
A fresh
crispy
old
mint
remote.
box.
It looks like it moved out of its.
Yeah, it did, for sure.
It's supposed to be in the middle there.
Yeah.
Still got some white marks on top, too.
Did you buy this off of the internet or?
Yeah. Yeah, supposedly it came from a TV shop, a mom and pop thing that closed down years and years ago, and I wouldn't even open it now.
Now the kids have it, they don't want it.
I hope it's got the smoked plastic cover.
Still sealed.
Came with both the coaxial and an RCA cord.
Yeah. I think you could ask, you could have the option at the dealer, tell them which remote to give you.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. But I wasn't alive then, so I can't.
Is this the way it's supposed to look, John?
Yeah, I think so far.
I mean, it's kind of half out of the bag here.
Right.
Make sure you send your registration card in.
Yeah.
Yeah, get your $50 offer there.
And your warranty.
You probably just run it down the street and drop
It's
it
under
off.
warranty.
That's the only one of those remote pamphlets I've seen like that.
Yeah.
I have one.
Yeah.
I got lucky somehow. Just a bunch of pamphlets.
That's cute.
What is that little thing up there?
Piece of cardboard, maybe?
Here?
Yeah.
It looks like a little piece of rubber band.
Yeah. Hard.
Let's get that guy.
Factory rubber band.
The cord's
adds
still
value.
tight.
Oh, it must have been around the cord.
Oh, yep,
see?
right there.
Oh, yeah, that's where it came
Most of it.
A little history.
Looks like a dried up worm.
So the cord was coiled like that, and they put a rubber band around it.
The color difference from where the styrofoam was.
That must be.
And it's just from pushing on it. Looks, yeah.
Because there's no sunlight got in there.
No.
Very brittle and
Yeah, my 300 in the box still has that foam stuff in there.
A lot of, for some reason, I've gotten some with it. It's obviously just the top part that people put back in before they sell it, but
Yeah.
Sometimes that stuff.
I've never had it like this. That's
I've
for sure.
never seen that
we're
piece
gonna
of
need a set
cardboard
of
on
pliers to
the
take these shipping tabs out.
Did you see the little note on the plug there?
Yeah.
Yeah, cardboard.
Yeah.
Never seen one of those before.
I feel like I've seen it, just not on it.
Discard before use. So you tell me people would actually plug it in like that?
This is America.
I wanted it to be easier to unplug.
Yeah, it's like a full cord.
Oh, it's so pretty.
Wow.
0 hour machine, first daylight in 36 years.
83.
It's crazy. Look how good the
Yeah.
sticker looks,
I was gonna say
too.
the
Yeah.
front end on it is like perfect.
Yeah.
Wowzer. Yeah, I want to stick the sticker over there. Tape the sticker for me.
Josh wasn't even born.
Yeah, I wasn't born yet.
I was 29.
Wow.
I'm 100. Does it say the date on there?
I don't know, but I've just never seen a sticker that good.
September of 83.
Let's see. 1983, 38th week of the year.
September sometime, Josh said the
38th
21st.
week of the year. Third line. And then that's the serial number. I'm forgetting.
You think the load belt's cool?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, if we're lucky, it's like a dried like turd hanging there and you just pull it off.
I've never been lucky.
You
It's
might be
always
lucky,
been cool.
We got that drill?
Yeah, grab the screwdriver. Let's find out.
I guarantee it's cool.
Could be a first.
Well, yeah. There's no way it's functional.
Lord knows how what kind of environment it was stored in.
You can tell it's old. It hasn't any labels on it.
There's not a single scratch on the top.
Right?
All
Yeah,
stacked
nothing.
stuff on
Nothing's
it.
been stacked on it.
Gentle.
For sure.
We should put the cover on one of those foam sheets so it doesn't get scratched on the table.
There you go.
Yeah.
Here, I'll take it.
Got it right back here.
This foam right here.
That's a
The belt's not even on it. It fell off.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So there's no glue to clean out of the pulley.
Nope. It's got to be in there somewhere.
I got a flashlight here.
Now I'm taking apart a brand new player.
Got a little
It's probably deep down in under the player and the board.
Look how white those are. They're so clean.
This thing, the pad.
Pad's still there. Yeah. I wonder if the thrust plate is still in place.
That's probably worth checking for.
Looking for a flashlight.
I have that for posterity.
I have my flashlight from Christmas, from our lovely Christmas present from Tom.
But it doesn't look nearly as pristine as
Wow.
Yeah, those look nice.
Yeah, gears aren't even gooped.
I'll get a battery or a battery. I'll get a
I
belt.
suppose it dried up and cracked and it just fell off, huh?
It went
Take the faceplate.
to a new dimension.
Probably rattling around in the bottom of the...
That's what I said. I'm sure it's down there in the board.
Now we'll just wait in anticipation.
Yep.
There needs to be like some Rocky music playing or something.
The Rocky box. Yeah.
Too bad you don't have the lab coat on.
Give the word, I can do that.
This is a historic event.
It is.
Rib spreader.
Quite literally. This thing's been waiting to see the light of day.
How many of these do you think there are still sealed?
Bones up.
Zero now.
Well, if there is another one, we probably will never find out about it. It'll probably just
You
get
know,
cut.
there's one sitting in a mom and pop somewhere that closed 30 years ago.
There's probably like a 90 in a box somewhere brand new that just nobody wants. Or like, I don't care if it's
Yeah.
new.
I feel that slow.
Yeah.
You can even hear it.
Yeah, but you see the lifter went up underneath the...
There's probably a pallet of them around somewhere.
Go find right. Right.
Okay, how do people find this stuff in warehouses that they find like a pallet of this from 19 whatever?
It's usually relatives or something.
Is that how
I've heard.
people find
Thrust
it?
plate's in there. I don't know what that is. It's
A
dry.
guy found 35 or 40 copies of
like adhesive.
Rad last year on Laserdisc.
Oh, I heard about that.
Did they put
Yep,
glue
I
on
saw
it and
'em.
realize
How'd
it
you
was
find
upside down? And then
That's interesting.
You find them in
I assume that magnet is-
copies of Summer Camp Nightmare, Rock and
it's
Roll.
polarized, but it's
Yeah, a ton of stuff.
No, he changed the whole market on
I don't
Rad
think they could put it
Laserdisc.
on
He did.
upside
I
down.
remember when he was selling for $20. They went quick. I got on the
that looks like it might be from the
Yeah,
belt.
which they're like
It was
150 now.
rattling
He's got
around
like
in
3
there.
left or something.
Yep.
Looks like. Trust me, I have
There would've been- I
all
would've bought
Rad
every
stuff. I have
single
the
copy.
giant banner.
Or
I
from
have
the marker there.
I gave him the album before someone repressed them.
I've got it. I've got the album on my phone,
That's interesting.
and I listen to it all the
No
time.
corrosion of the
Want
coil.
to see if the batteries are in here, Josh?
I have before, but I've never really done it. It's always been that way.
Yeah, there wasn't.
I've
my
only seen it like
batteries were
twice,
loose.
honestly.
Oh,
There they
It
are.
looks like
in the box.
glue.
Oh, yeah.
And they have not leaked either.
Wow.
That's correct.
And my question
That's
is,
cool.
Who's got the multimeter to see if they still have any charge on them?
But
I
wait,
have one.
Yeah.
I can't believe they had some leak. They still look good.
Oh, beautiful. See how dry that was too? When they don't get moved, they don't like
It'd be
goo
amazing if
goo.
those batteries were still good. I doubt
35-year-old
it.
batteries.
Not
My
good, but they
God.
might have like a half a volt on them.
Where's the DC ring?
I saw someone take a Radio B battery, which is like 40, 50 years old, and it still had some charge on it.
heavy duty.
Those old batteries, though, the ones that are just hunks of carbon, those you can actually recharge a little bit.
You want it on
DC rolls.
DC.
Now, if you could buy me a 280ZX just like this, I'll be a happy man.
I wish you
Boy.
You could maybe find a 300ZX.
So my question to you is, are you actually going to put this in the rack, or is it going right back in the box?
Oh, this is going in the rack.
That's going good. Good.
Might as well enjoy it, right?
In my living
Might as well enjoy it.
I don't know how you kept it sealed for so long. Didn't you buy it a while back?
It's been like
Christmas.
6 months. Oh,
Christmas
yeah.
time. I've been walking
He
past
saved
it.
it for today, so that
He
speaks
did,
volumes. He
Hey,
saved
I
it.
I've been
appreciate
walking
it. That
past
was
it
cool
every
to
day in
see.
the basement. It's 1.5.
Wow.
My 300.
You tell me the batteries are still good.
0.51.
I would have thought all the, carbon.
They're not even popped or leaking or anything?
No.
They're not
But those aren't
alkaline.
alkaline. Yeah, I was about to say they aren't alkaline. They don't pop.
Those are carbon zinc. Yeah.
Still impressed.
1.51. Wow.
Oh, it's fired up.
I'll put these batteries in here and they'll leak tonight.
Yeah. Okay, maybe don't put them in
They
there.
got exposed.
Keep
They
them
got
for the
exposed to bright
novelty.
light. They're just.
I'll
like
probably
gizmos.
test them at home. I got a tester that'll test them under load. I've got a remote sitting right over there we can use to test it with.
You want to go?
Used yet?
Yeah, no, it's amazing.
No wear on it.
So what's the first disc that's going in it?
Let's stick with
Uncle
that.
You want to unwrap something and put it in there?
Yeah, there you go.
Oh yeah.
There's a sealed,
Hey, there's a new disc over here.
Yeah, you have a couple sealed ones in there.
It was.
Transport screws.
I don't know. I feel like
walk through the universe.
yeah, I feel like it should be like Walk Through the Universe or
Yeah,
a Memories
absolutely
disc.
should be like
We could put a
something like
Memories
that.
disc in there.
That does not sound.
Now let's take the, let's get a pair of pliers to take the
Yeah,
transport.
I'm ready to snap those out. Are you?
Rosemary's Baby, clean disc. Use that one.
Yeah. For Kevin's Gate.
But that one's mono.
No, we're doing Kevin's Gate.
What the
Tony.
heaven's
We're good.
great in there? That's a nice clean disc.
Okay, there we go. I was like, I can't get that one
You
out.
can thank me for that one. That was a half price book's fine.
Thank you.
Nice.
There we go.
It's one of the few I don't have, and I heard it was a disaster at the box office.
You know what?
Those have only
it
been used
bankrupted
one
United
time.
Artists.
Yeah, those are crazy.
Well, that's the story on the books. It really did
Verified
bankrupt.
clean disc.
The company that owned them sold United Artists to MGM after it left.
Did you ever watch the movie?
Still
Hey,
clean
hey,
fly lead, it
Tony,
looks like, too.
Look at Jessica Lange. I know you've seen the original King Kong, right?
Right.
Or not the
Try
original,
that
but the
one? You wanna try
76
with the
remake
known
with Jeff
disc?
Bridges.
I say we
Couldn't
try
have
it
to
with a
wait
known
for
good one,
fucking
just
paperback,
cause.
man.
Just to make
But I
sure.
mean, I'm not against
But what
trying it
happened
first.
15
Who
years later?
cares?
She won an
Fire it up.
Oscar.
Okay.
Fire it
Maybe
up,
they
man.
all have that.
Even a blank
Yeah.
Brand
one.
new
Yeah,
even.
every
That is one of my favorite
Oh, yeah.
expressions,
There's
sir.
probably
Lines
someone's
Squirrel does
fingerprint.
find it out every once in a
Oh
while.
yeah.
Every once in a while.
A
Now
worker,
she's
you got a
considered one
worker
of the finest
fingerprint.
actresses of
Worker
her
fingerprint
generation.
right there.
Wow.
Everybody. He's part of LDF. I don't know if he's in the CED group though. I really don't know. But I think it's funny. He says, "What workshop?" I'm like, dude, join the CED group, and you would know everything and anything to know about this.
Ever.
On the way out
win.
here. Oh yeah, I got about 15 good discs.
Those buttons are good for sure.
Should be video 3.
It does feel different than my other players.
Yeah, they get worn out fast.
Oh.
What are we trying to do?
Oh, here it is.
There you go. We're on video.
Plug for it.
On video 3.
I tested it.
Yeah,
It
that's
plays
fine.
well.
Want me to turn the TV around so it's facing the player?
Won't hurt.
Hurry. It's for my kid. Scores.
Yep, just move what you gotta move.
Yep.
Player is plugged in.
Who's low distance said?
All right.
Oh yeah.
Turned off.
Yeah, please just reload.
I say the man who
Yeah, you wanna
owns
do
it.
that?
I say the man who owns it gets to pop its cherry.
Absolutely. As I started hitting by, I'm like, you're right.
Awesome, here we go.
Please load it working.
This is it, man. All the way.
Snapping in.
Part 2 of that. There's no part 2.
First time. So when you guys will start this is it. Here's life.
I mean, like.
Stereo's blinking, that's good. It started at 0.
Here we go.
Something wrong.
Look at that.
That's crazy.
That's a solid picture.
God, look at that picture.
Yeah, that's
Within
clear.
2 or 3 years of me starting to collect it, that's
This disc has probably been played 2 times.
Probably. When the guy who donated his collection to Half Price, they were pristine. The caddies were like in excellent condition. You could tell they were from the original.
Well, that's what caught my attention right out of the shoot. And then I pulled the disc and it's fine, you know.
And then I just started.
Look at that picture.
Blocks, like 1,000 discs.
That's why that's going in the rack.
Comes with players. And
Yeah.
then I'd sell what I didn't need to buy another lot. And now I probably have like 3,000 discs at home.
Yeah, and it's solid too. It's not jumping around or anything.
Oh yeah. That's what the Stylus has ever been touched too, because you know you can still collect dust on it. Not likely, but yeah. That works great.
Hold up. He's gonna rebuild the Stylus.
The only downside to the beginning of this movie, everyone looks like
I brought the other.
because of that CinemaScope.
That's working.
Style.
I'll give you $20 on the fly.
I'll give you 5.
You mean just for the viewing of it right now?
$20 doesn't sound bad.
That was a nice quick drop.
Yep, that was nice. That's good.
I think everything would be stiff after 36 years.
Well, when you think about when it's playing, there's very few moving parts.
Just lie dormant, needed to be woken up.
Now, one thing you may find I've had players like this at long-term storage or new old, and they seem to work fine after probably what you did. But after a year, after about an hour or so, they quit. Something about the aging of the electronics does that. You might find that there's a fuse going on, something like that. You might be lucky and it might work. There is a kind of getting used to
burn-in period, like
yes,
yeah. Now, John.